Hello, my name is Princella Clark, also known as Professor P, and I'll be reading from my book, The Game 41 Shades of Men, The Pursuit to Subdue and Use You. And ultimately, in this day and time, women are having major challenges in the dating market. And I wrote this book to help give them some clarity to overcome their blind spots so they can have more power in selecting their partners. So I'll be reading my first chapter, The Hobosexual, which is an archetype. Housing is absolutely essential to human flourishing. Without stable shelter, it all falls apart. Matthew Desmond. In 2017, a woman by the name of Nikita Nietzsche wrote an article that has since given birth to this type of pursuant, the hobosexual. In her article, she defines a hobosexual as a person who dates you with the sole interest of having a place to stay, not a genuine or romantic interest. If you read The 5 Components of Love and attended the workshop associated with it, then you already know men are not capable of love, and a romantic interest is a delusion. Romantic, according to Google, is defined as conducive to or characterized by the expression of love or characterized by or suggestive of a idealized view of reality. To connect the dots and give you the bigger picture, seeking an expression of love from a male who is incapable of love is a delusion in both senses of the word. To idealize, create a perfect world in one's imagination, reality is delusion in and of itself. Delusion is defined as an idiosyncratic belief or impression that is firmly maintained despite being contradicted by what is generally accepted as reality or rational argument, typically a symptom of mental disorder. In order to maintain the poisonous patriarchal program installed into their minds, many women have had bad habits of explaining or rationalizing away the pure and blatant evidence that in reality, men do not love or not capable of it. Every day she resists reality and does not process the blatant truths men tell her, such as men are territorial and we don't love like women do. These are blatant truths directly from the horse's mouth that men are incapable of love. And the reasons are twofold. First, love is completely absent of territory and ownership. Love is free, not in the context of giving away or accessibility, but free in the context of inhibition. Second, there is no such thing as a quote unquote woman's love. There is only one love, and the men are not capable of it. They tell you every day that they use you for your youth and your beauty, and by verbally telling you that you are only desirable to them between certain ages. This is not love, yet women will try to persuade themselves to see it as some form of love anyway, even though the behavioral evidence shows destruction of human life, self-esteem, confidence, and autonomy. Women are forcing themselves to behave against their biological program in order to uphold a psychological program that renders them with a clear mental disorder. I was recently sent a social media post by an anonymous woman which describes how she was bamboozled by the hobosexual. The post reads as follows: I was looking for love. He was looking for free housing. We met on Tinder. His name was King. My first date idea was to meet up for coffee. King offered to cook for me in my home. He was fine and I was lonely, so I agreed. King showed up chocolate, bald, fine as hell, and empty-handed. He cooked the food I had in the fridge. We ate French toast and eggs. You didn't bring food to cook? I asked. King shot back. Am I supposed to buy groceries on the first date? We had a great conversation and amazing sex. King deactivated his Tinder account in front of me and he spent the night. The following morning, King tried to stay in my home while I went to work and I refused. The next night, King came back to my home uninvited and we watched Netflix. King brought liquor and we had great, amazing drunk sex. He spent the night and the next night and the next. For 2 months, King remained in my home. His sex was top tier and his conversations were amazing. King wanted marriage with me. He wanted a large family with me, and he wanted to support my dreams. Conversations and great sex don't pay my bills. In fact, my bills have doubled. Also, King splurged on himself, but bought nothing for me. For example, he had a $350 pair of shoes arrive at my house, but he didn't offer to help me pay any bills. I mentioned to King that I couldn't afford cable and groceries for two, so I may have to let the cable go. Him, wow, how did you afford it before? Me, I'm buying double the groceries and toiletries now. Him, well, cut off well, cable won't cut you off until you a few months behind. Let it ride. I said, or you could pay it this month. He said, am I your daddy? Am I supposed to pay your bills? Or am I supposed to do something else? King's quote unquote something else was his amazing sex. King lived in a hotel before we dated, so I guess I'm his new hotel. In a moment of clarity, I told him I couldn't afford for him to stay overnight every day. King said casually, you know, once I receive mail here, I'm legally your roommate. He smiled. My heart sank to the floor. I had a mooching stranger in my bed and I was defenseless. It's my fault. I told too much, too soon. King knew I didn't have any strong men in my life to throw him out. I'm an only child. No big, bad uncles or brothers to protect me. No dad to come to my rescue. And as a black woman, I understand that if I called the police, the situation could become deadly for both of us. The only way I could get this man out of my house was to drive him out. I decided to fake my own eviction. It took 3 painful days. I paid my rent. I bought a burner phone. Then I created a fake eviction notice with the burner phone's number on it just in case he called. I slapped the notice on my door. King didn't call the number, but a neighbor did, she said. Leave that sound lady alone. You should be evicting the people next to me. They got the whole floor smelling like weed. I returned from home and showed King the eviction notice. I asked if he had money to help me or help me out because I was about to be homeless. Him, I thought you were independent. Why you changing on me? You lied. You didn't have your stuff together. Instead of cuddling with me, King was back on Tinder. We never had sex again. On the 3rd day, I put my cable service on pause and told King that it was shut off. I paid the janitor $20 to shut off the electricity to my apartment after I left work. King texted me, yo, power's off. I responded, oh no, can you pay the bill? He left my message on read. On my way home from work, I braced myself for the grand finale of packing my things and moving out. But when I got home, King was already gone. I texted him, where are you? I need help packing. Where are you gonna stay tonight, King? Message left on read. If I'm honest, it did sting to realize that King wasn't really into me. And yes, I'm jealous knowing that he's curling someone else's toes right now, but damn, it feels good to have my bed and my castle all to myself once again. Farewell, King. So in December of 2020, I ran across a video of a homosexual explaining the techniques he used to move into a woman's place. In this video, he speaks about using his phallus as a weapon or tool to conquer the mind of the woman. Once he has given her mind-blowing sex, he then falls asleep on the day she has to go to work. He states, if she wakes up and leaves without telling you to leave, then just don't ever leave. Many men have a motive when they approach you. That motive is always to have you fulfill a critical need. Many men operate at the bottom echelon of Maslow's hierarchy. This is the echelon of self-preservation. This echelon consists of food, sleep, water, sex, excretion, security, housing, self-esteem, emotional bonding, and belonging. These needs are in a constant deficit with many males. When they approach you, they are seeking to meet one of these needs, which are in constant rotation. In this case, the male needs security and housing. Once this need is met, he will begin to seek a relationship with another woman to fulfill another need which he has not started to look for to be met by you, the house the housing woman. So look for the following signs to know if you are dealing with a homosexual. Number one, how much time does he have on his hands? Is he always available? If he has plenty of time to dedicate to you, then this is a red flag. Number two, is he on dating apps? If so, how many and for how long? A person who is constantly on dating apps and multiple ones at that are looking for something specific. Who does he currently reside with? If he says anywhere but alone, then this is also a red flag, number one. Does he pay his own bills at a place that is leased to him? Is he employed? Homosexuals can be employed. As a matter of fact, many are employed. Being employed with no place of his own is still a red flag, because this type of person will typically move into your place and then quit their job just to pretend that they can't find another one. So understand, many are lazy by nature. Sexual expression is the physical drains their energy and desire. On top of that, most of them have no higher purpose. So it is easy for them to lay around, waste time, and seek a woman's care to preserve themselves. So here's how you can test the waters. Ask to spend time at his place. Pay attention to any objections or delays. This will tell you he most likely either lives with someone else or does not have a place of his own. If he does this, then simply say to him that you would prefer to be invited into his world. And if not, just say you don't think you can move forward. He will do one of two things. Number one, gaslight you and accuse you of being petty or something along those lines. Number two, play the long-term waiting game, which will have you questioning whether or not you are being too harsh or unreasonable. Watch for both signals. None of that matters. Does he take you to his place? If not, do not buy all of the nonsense that follows to justify why you cannot go to his place. Number two, this man will also insist on coming to your place. He will typically ask you within the first conversation about where you live. This is a question to determine proximity. Many can ask this question and not be homosexuals, but a homosexual will not leave this question out. So it must be considered as a check mark in addition to other red flags. See how frustrated he becomes when you continue to refuse to allow him to come to your place. You must play the extended waiting game. You do not want a leech living off of your hard-earned work and money. So my advice, do not let him eat up your baby's Fruit Loops, and don't let him stay the night. Chapter 3, the lonely man. And the Lord said, it is not good that a man should be alone. Genesis 2:18, King James Version of the Bible. If you have been monitoring the climate of social media these days, then you should be quite familiar with this popular scare tactic that men use with women. You're going to be single and die alone with cats. It is interesting how men often claim that men and women are not the same, yet believe the fears they have as men are the same fears women have. Projection is a common behavioral pattern for males who are desperately in need to protect their egos. According to research performed at Copenhagen Aging and Midlife Biobank, men who experience 2 or more breakups or live alone are at a greater risk for inflammation. This is not the case for women. There are many confessions of men stating their reasons for settling with women, most of which are centered around their fear of being alone. Here are a few quotes from men who confessed on Whisper. I settled in a relationship I'm not fond of because I fear my early baldness will keep me from ever having a wife, much less the girl of my dreams. When I look at my wife, I feel regret, but I can't say anything because I'm too afraid no one else will want me. I know I settled. I can't tell my girlfriend that I settled for her and that I feel nothing, but I'm afraid to be alone. I finally come to the realization that I'm a settler. I settled for my wife instead of being alone. I've settled for the house we live in because it's what she wants. I'm just here along for the ride. I was scared no one would love me, so I settled with my wife. I must admit, I am now so miserable. Loneliness is more detrimental to men than women, and as a result, they will go to any lengths to avoid it. I remember a Cat Williams joke during his early tenure. He said, "The single life is all fun and games until you get home in that lonely kitchen." The crowd responded in agreement. Martin Lawrence's hit show Martin references the lonely man when Gina leaves him. He had one TV dinner in the freezer, and it was called The Lonely Man Dinner, as a play on Hungry Man. When loneliness is referenced in television and film, it is almost entirely centered around the male, living single,